Hi, my name is Mikhail. I'd like to demo roots filtering for the Graph API backend. So it's a way to specify an expression that allows you to filter which Kubernetes objects act as um, roots in the graph, so that you only see what is connected to those roots. And to explain what this means, let me just show you. So I have a cluster running and GDK. So let's just look at the GitLab CLI branch. I have an agent number one connected to GDK, and this is the normal roots filtering. So this is the normal default view of the cluster, all namespaces except for kubesystem and most of the interesting objects here. And they don't have any deployments, so we'll be working in the namespace NS. And so this is how it looks. And I'll leave it running here, and I'll maybe do it like this, but we can see the second half of the screen. And this is the same command in a separate terminal, but I'm specifying an expression to um, use all pods in all places as roots. You run in a separate tab, and there are no pods. And yeah, let's run it like here. Okay, and here I will. Yeah, no, let's reshuffle this a little bit. Okay. Here I'll create a deployment in base NS. And you can see here we see all the objects, and here we see that namespace only because we have these two pods. These are the pods. Yeah, this is a config map and the service account and the replica set and the deployment. So we have outbound arcs from the pods, so from the roots to the replica set and so on, and the deployment. And if we scale it to 1, that pod is gone. And if we scale it to 0, so this should disappear because there will be no roots. So we see there is still a deployment. No, this is the replica set. There's still a deployment, but there are no pods, so there are no roots, so we don't, yeah, there's nothing to see because there's 0 roots. If we scale it back, so we'll see the previous picture. So this all works as intended. I guess the next step to make it even more usable would be to say I want to filter everything that. So these yellow arrows are owner references. So normally you want. So currently we follow them in the direction they go. So from the pod to the replica set, and from replica set to the deployment, and so on. For any, it works for any objects. And but we usually would want to do the other way around. We would want to say anything from a deployment, so owner references, it may be useful to follow them in the reverse direction so that you find all the replica sets and all the pods connected to them. But it's not as useful, I guess, to follow the other arcs this way, but owner references are kind of special because you can think of them as inverse of what label selectors are for. So deployment selects all the replica sets that match certain labels, and replica sets select all the pods that match certain labels. And owner references are kind of secondary. They just signify ownership. Initially, they were not part of Kubernetes. And anyway, so logically, it's the other way around. But currently, well, the arcs go actually from the pods to replica sets and so on. But logically, the direction of travel should be the other way, basically. So this is the next step in improving this feature. But yeah, this is what I have so far. Thank you.